Run this sales tax out of plan to make you pay more.
With the sales tax here,
and the sales tax there.
Here a tax,
there a tax, everywhere a sales tax.
In Congress, Ron DeSantis wanted to replace the current system with a national sales tax, a 23% tax hike on almost everything you buy, from the gas station to the grocery store.
You'll pay more here.
you'll pay more there.
Here you'll pay.
There you pay, everyone will pay more.
We can't afford Ron DeSantis' sales tax. Make America Great Again, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising.
I love the ending with the anyway. That was obviously, as they said, produced by the MAGA Inc. Political Action Committee, and I find it to be a fascinating ad targeting Ron DeSantis for a few different reasons. First of all, it's condescending. Like, it's dismissive. Like, it really just fits into what the right wing wants to do when it targets its political enemies. Like, they're gonna make an absolute mockery out of this guy. He is going to wish he was Jeb with an exclamation point. He's gonna wish that he was little Marco Rubio. So they're attacking him on that. It's substantive, sort of. Like, they are literally attacking him for something he supported, but being incredibly dishonest about that. We'll break down some of those specifics, but Brett, what did you make of that as an attack on Ron DeSantis?
They made him trim. Why are they making him so trim, man?
They did make him trim, that's true.
Yeah, meat bobblehead Ron is what they turned him into. I thought the jib jab craze was done, but they brought it back. Make America Great Again, circa 2005? Jib
Make
jab?
America jab again. It was definitely jib jab, 100%. But they did make him trim. I think, like, when you think of a cartoon character, like, the decision to make them look, I don't know, I guess less trim might be able to be seen as like an intentional thing. Maybe they were worried they'd get attacked, or maybe they didn't think about it. I don't know.
I mean, if you want to get into it, they always lean into, whether you know you're doing it or not, you're leaning most likely into commedia dell'arte tropes. So there's always, like, you have to have a decision to make between like 3 different kinds of fools, and you either go with the Scaramucci, Scaramouche, like me, or you go with like the bumbling guy who just keeps stuffing his face. I think with Ron, what you want is kind of what I've got going on now, a guy who didn't work out but also is starting to get a beer belly. I think that's what they want. Yeah.
That's also, there's a comedy dell'arte, as we all know, is those 3 archetypes. You can also find those in the classic NES game Ice Hockey. We have the skinny guy, the medium guy, and the big guy.
Yeah,
it's based on the comedy dell'arte.
Hey, that's where slapstick comes from. They used to just hit people with sticks on stage, so hockey still holds.
Nice.
In that respect.
They should bring that back, and probably will. It's weird that got canceled. But anyway, let's talk about the substance of that. So it's basically targeting his support for the Fair Tax Act during his time in Congress, saying that he would make a federal sales tax of 23%. That would obviously be in addition to state sales taxes. Florida's, I believe somebody said it was 6%. I don't know for sure, but that sounds about right. It doesn't point out that would, of course, be a replacement for income, payroll, estate, and gift taxes, which is true, but also, like, that's not a value neutral thing. Replacing those things with a sales tax is not just like, oh, it works out in the end. No, it's much more intentionally regressive. That would affect poorer people who spend a higher percentage of their income on things that would be taxed by the sales tax than richer people do. That's why some rich people like it. It wouldn't affect the rich as much, and more of the money would be generated by poor people. So I guess it is true that they didn't point that out, but also I don't know why they would want to, especially because they're attacking him for this when many Republicans who, I'm talking about politicians who support Donald Trump, have supported some form of a flat tax, a fair tax, whatever they want to call it. That's what this is. So it's so interesting. I don't know how much that's gonna bother Trump supporters who like this tax because they want to see DeSantis go down. But it is interesting that they're doing it in an area where theoretically a lot of their supporters like this. I don't mean regular conservatives, although some of them might even. DeSantis' campaign, by the way, says that it's dishonest, says that he's recently passed a permanent sales tax exemption on baby supplies. So that's good, I guess. But anyway, Brett, what do you think?
So this is Donald Trump's approach, right? Donald Trump and Ron DeSantis both know that there's this like populist right out there that, doesn't like folks who want to get rid of Medicare and Social Security, but also really likes culture war nonsense. And the thing is that Donald Trump does all of that acting like he cares about poor people much better than Ron DeSantis.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis is a wiener, and Ron DeSantis has been in government longer. Ron DeSantis has, you can go through more of his history to find things like this that prove that it's all an act. And so anybody who supports a national sales tax over a national income tax only supports taxing poor people more than they tax rich people, right? If you're buying a $10 diaper or a $10 whatever, I guess he wants to exempt baby supplies, but if you're buying a $10 lunch and you only make $100 and you get taxed 1% on 10% on that, you're getting taxed 1% of your income on that. If you make $100,000, you're taxed a much lower percent of your income.
Yeah.
Like a dollar makes up a much lower percent of your income. And so that's the thing about rich people, is they'll always find ways, in the same way that they find tax loopholes in our current system. They're trying to, pass this giant handout for them. And Donald Trump has picked up on that. And you know that as soon as Ron DeSantis got to become the governor of Florida, the folks in the Trump administration were like, all right, here's what we're doing. We got to get our Oppo file on him. And they're unleashing it very quickly to try to squash this. And the only rival for the person who can squash it faster is Donald Trump is Ron DeSantis himself through his stupidity.
Yeah, in terms of his choices in his campaign. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.